Truth is that in order to make an event like this successful, you have to have the speakers and our sponsors who make it all possible. So for the speakers and our panelists, thank you for your willingness to come together today and share with us your subject matter expertise. It is indispensable to the discussion. And to our sponsors, a special word of thanks. We could not stage an event like this without your support. So our bronze sponsors are Alpha Design Technologies, BAE Systems, Belcan, and Fortinet. Our silver sponsor is Raytheon, and our gold sponsor, a special thanks to Lockheed Martin. The third universal truth, of course, about an event like this is it's wonderful to have an idea, and it's great to have speakers, but if we don't have an audience, then there's really no one to hear. So we thank all of you for spending your time with us over the next 2 days and your interest in hearing about U.S.-India defense ties. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Patrick Santillo, and I'm the Strategic Advisor for the Business Council for International Understanding, or BCIU. We are a 220-plus member business organization that conducts activities really around the globe, trying to bring businesses and governments together and businesses together. So we are delighted to be here in Hyderabad. We're very pleased to have the trust from the consulate to allow us to work with them to stage this event. We have terrific partners in SIDM and CII, without whom we could not do an event of this magnitude, and we wish to thank them. In conclusion, I really have both a job and a joy. My job is to make 2 administrative announcements, so I'll do that now if I may. I would ask you to silence your phone if you have them, and I would ask if you need to make a call that you could make it outside of the conference area if you would. So please do silence your phones. I would also like to let everyone know that the proceedings today and tomorrow will be recorded, at least audio and perhaps for some time video as well, but please be aware of that. The joy part of my job this morning is simply to introduce our first speaker. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Consul General. The full bios are in the handouts that we have given everybody, so for time's sake, we're not going to read all of the bios, but it's very clear that Consul General Reichman has extensive experience. You'll see from his bio that he has both military and State Department experience, so he really is uniquely qualified to share with us his perspectives and to help us set the stage for the current state of U.S.-India ties and a look at the future. So with that, Consul General Reichman, thank you again, and please, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Patrick, for that kind introduction, and thank you all for joining us for the U.S.-India Defense Ties Conference in Hyderabad, the very first conference of its kind in this vital region for U.S.-India ties. For the U.S.-India Economic Partnership, educational exchange, shared learning, collaboration through business, research, and innovation. I want to extend my appreciation to our partners in putting this event together, including the Business Council for International Understanding and the Confederation of Indian Industry, and also our sponsors here, which we couldn't have done this without you. I want to thank Deputy Assistant Secretary Joel Starr for traveling from Washington to contribute to this important conversation about our shared interests. It is perfect timing that this conference is taking place now, on the eve of the U.S.-India 2+2 dialogue in Washington, D.C. The 2+2 dialogue is the principal mechanism for translating a strong U.S.-India relationship into real, tangible outcomes. With this conference, we're making that a 2+2+1. Last year, the 2+2 dialogue led to agreements that significantly bolstered information sharing and allowed for the transfer of critical defense technologies. Recently, the defense relationship between our two countries was strengthened even further by the successful completion of Tiger Triumph, the first tri-service military exercise in our two nations' histories. And I was very, very pleased to personally be there in Visakhapatnam to witness the collaboration between 500 U.S. airmen, Marines, and sailors, and 1,200 Indian sailors, airmen, and soldiers. India is clearly one of our most important partners in the Indo-Pacific region. As Principal Deputy, as the Senior Bureau Official, Alice Wells, and she is the senior official in the Department's Bureau of South and Central Asian Affairs. She noted last week that the United States and India have built a strong partnership that helps uphold international norms, builds prosperity, helps to counter terrorism, and advances our shared interest in Asia and beyond. The objective of this two-day conference is to build on recent successes in the U.S.-India defense relationship, to provide a high-level platform to discuss avenues for increased U.S.-India collaboration in the defense space, especially in the private sector, and to help participants gain a deeper understanding of how we can leverage the U.S.-India agreements in which we've already invested to accomplish more. With that, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Joel Starr, who is the U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State from the Bureau of Political and Military Affairs. And I'm especially pleased to welcome him because it's great to have another Joel in the room, and it's also great to have another JAG who is a military attorney, because we both share that, and legislative background. So with that, please extend a warm welcome to Joel Starr. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Consul General Reckman, Joel, and thank you for the invitation today. How's that? Good? Can everybody hear me? Thank you. Thank you for the invitation today to be here at the U.S.-India Defense Ties Conference, and it's a pleasure to speak to you today as the new Deputy Assistant Secretary for Regional Security in the Bureau of Political and Military Affairs, as we call it, the PM Bureau. Before I address the security relationship between India and the United States, may I speak briefly about what PM's role is at the Department of State. The Bureau of Political and Military Affairs integrates diplomacy and defense, forging strong international partnership to meet shared security challenges, regulating arms transfers and defense trade, directing security assistance, building partner capacity, negotiating security agreements, exchanging personnel with the Department of Defense to straighten the defense diplomacy relationship. These are just some of the PM efforts to further United States security policy. As the U.S.-India partnership grows stronger, PM hopes to play a key role in working with our Indian partners to strengthen the defense ties between our two great nations. The growing U.S.-India strategic partnership is broad and multifaceted, and it has grown deeper under the leadership of President Trump and Prime Minister Modi. As enshrined in our national security strategy, the United States welcomes India's emergence as a leading global power and its role as a net security provider in the region. India is one of our most important partners in the Indo-Pacific region. The U.S.-India partnership stands upon a shared commitment to the rule of law, freedom of navigation, democratic values, and economic growth. India's contributions toward capacity building, peacekeeping, and humanitarian assistance into disaster relief operations have been essential to ensuring a free and open Indo-Pacific and upholding the rules-based international order worldwide. Likewise, its participation in bilateral and multilateral exercises across the region has brought great benefits to its partners. I am confident that the strong and upward trajectory of our partnership will continue, as mentioned by the Consul General, and as evidenced by the success of our first ever tri-service military exercise, Tiger Triumph.
the security ties between the United States and India can only grow stronger. Defense trade is a key area that can strengthen the security relationship between our two nations. The United States sees defense trade as a tool to strengthen security. At the same time, it also reinforces our strategic partnership through greater interaction and interoperability between armed forces and builds greater understanding between